let's get straight into it, because this one was absolutely brutal. I don't recall such a one-sided World Cup match in a long, long time. And of course, I'm talking about Spain sticking 7 past Costa Rica. It was a chastening experience, to say the least. And that was just for me watching it. I was live blogging the game as it happened. It was, it was brutal, Mike. Surely that's the only way to describe it. Everything that we kind of hoped wouldn't happen for Los Ticos came to pass. Keylor Navas looked geriatric. Everybody out there looked just so far off the pace. It was unbelievable.
JJ, can you call me back after this discussion, please? Because I actually didn't learn anything. I could just go and have a few shots of tequila before I come back.
You're gonna learn a couple more guys that Mike is on first name.
You know what? I'm gonna let Mike go. I was gonna say this to everyone listening, all the fans who've got listening, tune in. This is not my moment, but this is your moment. Please send your messages and comments and tell me what you guys learned from Spain today. Because I didn't learn nothing from that performance. I want to see what people feel they learned from Spain.
You learn that they can score if their opponents are as bad as Costa Rica were.
Yeah. Oh, man. I think one thing we can all agree on is Costa Rica, they should have stayed at home. I mean, this was embarrassing. Yes, you can get outbeat, just outthought, but just the mentality, the effort wasn't there. You saw players standing in transition. I thought it was laughable. I thought they were woeful all over the place, especially on the right-hand side between Fuller and Martinez. Fuller wasn't even jogging back. They showed up in a 4-4-2, and before this, they had played a back 5. You are inviting just the worst of beatings. The only positive thing I take from this is that they scored more goals than the English did. And that's a big win for me. They scored more goals for the English, because I don't want to hear it on this pod with you English, you two in particular, and James Bench, I'm going to add him to the list, talking, we put 6. The Spaniards, they put a touchdown and extra point, so kudos to them.
I never said that to you, so you can let the fans know and the people who are listening that I've never said that comment to you. Okay? Never said anything.
All right, so one for Nigel, because to be fair, I mean, I can see your point. We can't, I guess, judge Spain's potential title credentials based on a performance like that, given that it was so one-sided. But we did ask at the beginning of the tournament, where are the goals going to come from Spain? Suddenly we've got 7 answers. Is this it's certainly too early to say, Spain are potential contenders. But if you look at the way that this has shaken the group up, because, we were kind of expecting it to maybe be a tight encounter between them. Suddenly Spain go and blow them away. Japan beating Germany. That's really, really opened up this group for somebody unexpected to potentially drop out, surely.
Yes. JJ, for me, honestly, I learned absolutely nothing about Spain from this.
It's like being back in school for you then.
No, I'm actually a very good student at school. I left with all my GCSEs. Anyway, I learned nothing about Spain, honestly. And I think it was just because Costa Rica was so lackluster, so ineffective, and so uninterested in a World Cup opener. I've never seen anything like that. And Costa Rica do come with a bit of a reputation where they're not an easy team to beat. Costa Rica have always been a difficult, dogged team to beat. Very hard. They work their socks off. They fight. They make it difficult for you. They did not make it difficult for Spain. And I don't think that anyone, even who's Spanish, can say that they've learned something about this Spanish national side. You can only really judge Spain when they play against the Japan and obviously against Germany. But for me, this has left this group open. And I'd have to say now, after that emphatic win, that you would say Spain will definitely get through to the next round. But how far they'll go in this competition, I still don't feel it's that far. I think it's a very young team. I think when they come up against a well-balanced, experienced and youthful side as well, with attacking threats, with pace. Because remember, Rodri played centre-back. Rodri played centre-back, who normally plays centre midfield for Manchester City. Now, yes, I know Rodri's 6'4", whatever it is, but he's not the most athletic to get around. And any real bit of pace around him or quick side movements down him, he'll find himself in some problems. So until they get tested at that level and that caliber, I haven't learned nothing about Spain. And I think I'm probably going to drink more wine after this.
I see your wine and up it with some sangria. And we know that Lucho Garcia is definitely drinking sangria, probably making his way to Ibiza right now to celebrate this win, because he should. This was a big performance for a lot of the attackers for Spain. In the preview show this morning, the morning update, I said that keep an eye on the two wide players, and I know you spilled the sangria as I said that. But keep an eye on the two wide players for Spain. Dani Olmo, big game for him. Hasn't played a ton of minutes for RB Leipzig due to injuries, due to form. He gets goals. Ferran Torres, massive for him to get goals because he's been inconsistent with Barcelona. Marco Asensio getting goals as a false nine. And really, it shows Spain that not only can you have wide players that produce, but some of the guys coming off the bench, I think of Balde, his surging runs, this youthful exuberance of the Spanish national team. You're just really seeing this sense of confidence that these young players can have. And you have to play who's in front of you.
Mike,
I
find it hard.
I'm almost close to done. I'm almost
no,
close to done. Let me just round this out, and then you can hammer me. I promise.
I'm going to hammer you.
No, but the biggest player who I think benefited from a game like this and needed this, Alvaro Morata. To see him get that goal, he's been the scapegoat for a lot of the Spanish national team's inconsistent success. And he was a scapegoat for their World Cup or their Euro run, last time out. And to see him come off the bench, and they said in the press that he didn't start because he had a cold, but to see him come off the bench and get a goal and an assist, it's going to do wonders for his confidence because strikers, they need to get in that just run of goal scoring form to boost their confidence.
I just think for me, Mike, I understand what you're saying, but I just find it too hard to give Spain credit when you look at Costa Rica's performance. And I understand these players are young, it's young and enthusiastic. Michael, these guys are playing for Barcelona, Real Madrid, and some of the top and biggest clubs in world football. They're playing domestically and playing Champions League. So they know about pressure. They know about playing against the best of the best. That for me was not like playing against the best of the best for me. That performance doesn't really show me anything different because these kids have not just made 5 or 6 appearances. Like they've played a lot of games already for top clubs in Europe. I did not learn anything about Spain, and I find it hard to really judge them or say anything great about them until I see a test against Germany. Now, Germany is going to be a test for them. Japan is going to be a test for them. That's when we can kind of really see where Spain are at. But for me, that performance today, what was it? There's a great stat we have here by our producer, Lisa. Spain completed 1,000 passes. Oof. Costa Rica completed 168 in a World Cup opener.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was an absolute beatdown, and I think the most impressive thing about that Spain passing stat is the fact that over half of those 1,000 passes actually completed in the first half. That's a record for a World Cup game at any stage of the tournament at any time. So that includes the golden Spanish generation that basically brought tiki-taka to the mainstream. So I think that in itself was quite impressive. I was really impressed by the way that Pedri started the game in the first half. I thought that Gavi had a really good game as well. So there were some sort of individual performances that I think do warrant praise, but certainly some interesting comments, pouring into the chat about, how, Costa Rica just didn't, compete with Spain at all. Couldn't handle the tiki-taka style. Looked lost in a forest at times. Not untrue. That's a fair comment.
No, he's right. Listen, JJ, if you watch that game,
passes.
If you watch that game, everyone has to be honest. It wasn't competitive from Costa Rica. No. That's it. And these young players, I know people might think I'm being a bit harsh. These young players are doing what you expect them to do. That's just the reality of coming through in Europe. So it's not trying to sugarcoat it. This isn't no participation trophy generation. This is what comes with representing Barcelona and all these big clubs. Like they're doing what's expected from them. And I just don't think they're going to gain anything by not being tested.
That was a really good point there as well that just popped up in the comments that Costa Rica do have previous of not performing that well in the World Cup. 1990 against Brazil, suffered a similar humiliation. But also at the same time, we can't forget their run to the quarterfinals in 2014. And it feels like this kind of performance, because there's so many of those players still present in the team, kind of undoes a bit of the memory around that, surely, Mike.
Yeah, it's time. Ya está tiempo, as they say in Costa. It's time. Get the old guys out. It's time for a rebuild. When you look through the roster down the spine of the team, and you mentioned this, JJ, this morning, the fact that Keylor Navas hasn't been getting minutes, solid minutes. Keylor Navas of the past was getting Champions League minutes with Real Madrid, and those quality minutes matter if you are going to be a Costa Rica side that absorb pressure. You need your goalkeeper at his absolute best, and the rust and dust really showed itself. Celso Borges, I said this guy was Benjamin Button just still playing around. This guy's the reverse Benjamin Button. You could see his bones breaking, trying to run around, chasing the likes of Gavi, Pedri. It was embarrassing. It was just absolute embarrassment. The fact that you have Brian Ruiz, who, congrats to him, I think he made his 145th cap. Gosh, that should be 49th. Well, it's 140 something. That's incredible. The fact that you even have a player like that who is well past his time, surely there's enough talent in the domestic league to start getting young players through the ranks and playing them.
Well, it certainly needs some sort of reaction from Costa Rica in their 2 final games in this World Cup, because it doesn't seem like they'll be getting any more